Good morning. Today we are going to see about some multiple choice questions in pediatric nursing. The most common assessment finding in a child with ulcerative colitis or options are intense abdominal cramps, profuse diarrhea, anal fissures, and abdominal distension. Answer to ulcerative colitis. Ulcerative colitis only causes profuse diarrhea. Intense abdominal cramps, anal fissures, and abdominal distensions are more common in Crohn's diseases. A 1 year and 2 months old child weighing 11.8 kg is admitted for traction to treat congenital hip dislocation. Which traction system is suitable? Options are Freon's traction, Puck's extension traction, overhead suspension traction, 90-90 traction. The answer is Freon tractions. So it is used to treat femoral fracture of congenital hip dislocation in children under 2 years who weighed less than 13.6 kgs. Buck's extension traction is skin traction used for short-term immobilization or to correct the bone deformities or contractures. Overhead suspension traction is used to treat fractures of the humerus. 90-90 traction is used to treat femoral fracture in children over the age 2. Abnormally low set ears in an infant is associated with options are autogenous tetanus, tracheoesophageal fistula, congenital heart defects, and renal anomalies. Answer: renal anomalies. Normally, the top of the ear aligns with an imaginary line drawn across the inner and outer canthus of the eye. Ears set below these lines are associated with renal anomalies or mental retardation. Low set ears do not accompany with autogenous tetanus or tracheoesophageal fistula or congenital heart defects. 3-year-old child to able to perform which action? Options are ride a tricycle, tie the shoelaces, and roller skates, and jumping the rope. So answer 1, ride a tricycle. At age 3, gross motor development and refinement in eye and coordination enable a child to ride a tricycle. The fine motor skills require to tie shoelaces. Gross motor skills require for roller skating. Jumping the rope develop around the age 5. Which anatomical feature predisposed to otitis media in children? Options are Eustachian tubes, nasopharynx, tympanic membrane, and external ear canal. Answer 1, Eustachian tubes. In a child, Eustachian tubes are short and lie in a horizontal plane, promoting the entry of nasopharyngeal secretions into the tubes and thus setting the stage for otitis media. Nasopharynx, tympanic membrane, and external ear canal have no unusual features that predispose a child to otitis media. What is the primary purpose of administering corticosteroid to the child with nephrotic syndrome? Options are to increase blood pressure, to reduce inflammation, to decrease proteinuria, to prevent infection. Answer to decrease proteinuria. The primary purpose of administering corticosteroid to a child with nephrotic syndrome is to decrease proteinuria. Corticosteroids have no effect on child blood pressure, although they help reduce inflammation, but this is not reason for their use in patients with nephrotic syndrome. Corticosteroid may predispose a patient to infection. Infant with diarrhea and vomiting lasted for 2 days, acute diarrhea, with dry mucous membranes and lethargy. What other findings suggest a fluid volume deficit? Options are a sunken fontanelle, decreased pulse rate, increased blood pressure, low urine specific gravity. Answer 1, a sunken fontanelle. In an infant, signs of fluid volume deficit, that means dehydrations, include sunken fontanelles, increased pulse rate, and decreased blood pressure. They occur when the body can no longer maintain the sufficient intravascular fluid volume. When this happens, the kidney conserve water to minimize the fluid loss, which result in concentrated urine with a high specific gravity. What should be the initial bolus of crystalloid fluid replacement for a child in shock? Options are 20 ml per kg, 10 ml per kg, 30 ml per kg, or 15 ml per kg. Initial bolus. Answer 20 ml per kg. Fluid volume replacement must be calculated to the child's weight to avoid overhydration. So initial fluid bolus is administered to 20 ml per kg followed by another 20 ml kg bolus if there is no improvement in fluid status. Sudden infant death syndrome is one of the most common cause of death in infants. At what age is the diagnosis of sudden infant death syndrome most likely? Options are at 1 to 2 years of age, at 1 week to 1 year of age, peaking at 2 to 4 months, at 6 months to 1 year of age, peaking at 10 months, at 6 to 8 weeks of age. These are the options. So correct answer is at 1 week to 1 year of age, peaking at 2 to 4 months. So sudden infant death syndrome can occur any time between 1 week to 1 year of age and peak at 2 to 4 months. Which of the following is the best method for performing a physical assessment on a toddler? Options are from head to foot, distal to proximal, from abdomen to toes to head, from least to most intrusive. The answer is from least to most intrusive. When examining a toddler or any small child, the best way to perform the exam is from least to most intrusive. Starting the head to abdomen is intrusive and should be avoided. Proceeding from distal to proximal is inappropriate at any age. Which of the following is most likely associated with the cerebrovascular accident resulting from congenital heart diseases in children? Options are polycythemia, cardiomyopathy, endocarditis, and low blood pressure. So answer is polycythemia. The child with the congenital heart disease develop polycythemia resulting from an inadequate mechanism of compensate for decreased oxygen saturation. Which of the following situation increase risk of lead poisoning in children? Options are playing in a park with heavy traffic with many vehicles, playing sand in the park, playing plastic balls with other children, and playing with stuffed toys at home. These are the options. So answer is 1, playing in a park with heavy traffic with many vehicles passing by. Lead poisoning may cause by inhalation of dust and smoke from leaded gas. It may also cause by lead-based paint or soil or water, especially from plumbing of old houses. A 9-year-old girl diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. Which of the following must keep in mind when developing a care plan for a child? Options of pulmonary secretions are abnormally thick, elevated levels of potassium are found in the sweat, and cystic fibrosis is an autosomal dominant hereditary disorder, and obstruction of endocrine glands occurs. Answer 1, pulmonary secretions are abnormally thick. Cystic fibrosis is identified by abnormally thick pulmonary secretion. So diagnosis of cystic fibrosis is based on elevated chloride levels detected in sweat. This is a chronic inherited disorder, particularly an autosomal recessive hereditary disorder concerning the exocrine, not endocrine glands. The thick mucus blocks the exocrine glands. Ribavirin drug is used to treat which of the following? Cystic fibrosis, otitis media, respiratory syncytial virus, or bronchitis? So ribavirin is a antiviral medication to use to treat the respiratory syncytial viral infections. Immunization of children with Haemophilus influenza type B vaccine decrease the incidence of which of the following conditions? Bronchiolitis, laryngotracheobronchitis, epiglottitis, and pneumonia. These are the options. Answer: epiglottitis. Epiglottitis is a bacterial infection of the epiglottis, primarily caused by hip. Administration of vaccine has decreased the incidence of epiglottitis. So far we discussed about some multiple choice question in pediatric nursing. I hope these questions useful for your competitive exams. Thank you.